Part 2. Thanksgiving and Christmas came and went with no word from him. No text message or call for the holidays. No explanation about the female he entered my store with. Nothing besides my own thoughts of who and what. All that meant, maybe she was a family member here for the holidays. His appearances at my job stopped. It's like he fell off the face of the earth. Enough time had passed, and I was less mad about the other female encounter. So when he texted me out of the blue to come over and hang out, I thought twice about it. But I thought maybe he'd explain himself to me if I gave him the chance. Face to face, so I did. I went to his house. He had this large shed in his backyard that he had transformed into a man cave. When I got there, he led me straight to this shed, where there was a TV, cool lights everywhere. We had church benches to sit on, and what looked like a raised platform made out of wood pallets, with pillows and blankets laid out over these wood pallets. There in that spot, things got intimate, him initiating what is now our fourth intimate encounter. It was then that I became aware that he was recording this intimate encounter. When I asked him what he was doing and asked him, "Are you recording this?" he got very quiet. He was almost shocked that I caught him. He quickly got up with his cell phone and ran inside of the house. When I changed my tone, like I was interested in viewing what he recorded, he quickly commented about a prior encounter, leading me to believe this was not the first time he recorded use. I became very upset and left his house. I texted him how I felt about these videos he recorded, which lead to no response from him. I left so quickly. I left a few articles of clothing behind in which I wanted them back. He assured me that he had them, that I could come back the next day for them. I went back the next day to retrieve my clothing but was met with an excuse that he could not locate them. I thought, is this man crazy? Is he holding my clothing as souvenirs? Why won't he give me back my clothes? Sir, weeks passed. I had quit my job at the only place he could see me freely at, so his ability to see me was cut off. He texted my phone, asking me what my plans were that day. He invited me over to drink some beer and bonfire. In my mind, I thought, okay, maybe I can get my clothes back and get some insight on these recordings he had made. Maybe I'll get some answers. I was wrong. He picked me up this time from my house. We drove back to his house, where we sat in his front yard where he had this large bonfire already going. I thought, who in the world would have a bonfire poorly constructed in the front yard of a residential neighborhood? People were driving past his house to see what the heck all the smoke was from. From neighbors to even our police department drove past many times, but nobody said anything to him. He was recklessly dousing the flames with gasoline and fueling the fire with leaf and pine needles he racked up from his yard. He used an electric leaf blower to ignite the flames more. I thought, what a show-off, and how immature he was, and how bad this scenario can turn out. After a few hours, he got bored of his fire, and even though it was not done burning out, he moved us to the backyard to his shed again. I thought, oh no, not the shed again. By now my beer was gone, and instead of seeing that was my cue to leave, I stayed. He had brought out a bottle of hard alcohol already open. It appeared to me that he had now moved on from beer and was now drinking Captain Morgan from the bottle. He offered me some. I took 2 swigs from the bottle, and that's all I remember. This was around 3:00 in the afternoon. The next thing I know, I'm waking up to him yelling in my face to get the F out of his house. I was freezing cold, and I was in his shed. I jump up, I guess, from a sitting position, asking him why, what happened. He just kept repeating himself. I had no idea what happened. All I knew is that I was freezing cold. It was dark outside, and the temperature outside was in the high 40s. I scrambled to grab what belongings I had next to me, rushing behind him to explain what went wrong. His uncle was standing in the kitchen, and I looked to him for answers. Repeating to that, I just woke up and that I didn't know why he would throwing me out. I told him to take me home since he was the one who drove me there. He refused. He told me I had to walk home. I was hysterical at this point. So he called the police, and him and his uncle lead me out of the HPUs through the front door. I'm crying uncontrollably at this point, and that's when the cop arrived. He told the lady cop that I wouldn't leave his house, and wanted them to remove me from his house. I was even asking the lady cop what happened, that I was woken up to him yelling at me and kicking me out. She could not give me answers and told me she's escorting me home in her cruisers. He pulled up at my house and let me out, then realized he had my purse and keys.